today. My name is Virginia Montiel and I'm the Youth and Outreach Program Coordinator here at the Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens. Today, we're going to be making a Kumihimo friendship bracelet, just like this. Now, Kumihimo is a traditional braiding technique of Japan that actually started a very long time ago, but they still use it to this day. They used to use it to make cords to connect the pieces of samurai armor together, and today they actually use it to make sashes for traditional Japanese clothing like kimono. Now, we're not going to be making samurai armor or kimono sashes. Instead, like I said, we're going to be making bracelets. Now, you need a couple of things. First, you need a paper plate. You can also use cardboard, but I think paper plate is easier to use. You also need either yarn in 2 different colors or embroidery floss in 2 different colors. I also recommend having some markers. You got 3 markers in 3 different colors and some scissors. Now first, in order to make a Kumihimo bracelet, we need to prepare our Kumihimo disc. And for that, we're using our paper plate. Now first, we're going to use our markers. I'm going to use black first to make 4 different points. And kind of like the compass, north, south, east, west. Okay, so I'm just going to mark it. Up north here, south over here, east over here, and west over here. And we're done with our black marker. Next, I'm using my second marker color, green, to put a mark, just like these lines, in between each of the black ones. So in the middle over here, kind of in the middle here, over here, and over here. Now it doesn't have to be exact. You can estimate, that's fine. We just need these to make it easier for the project later on. And finally, we're going to use our last marker to make a mark between each of the first 2 colors. So between each black and green, we're going to make a mark. Same for over here. So that's 2 red ones, a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Now, 8 is a really good number when it comes to Kumihimo. Why? Because you need 8 strings to make a Kumihimo bracelet. If you don't use 8 strings, it's not really Kumihimo. Not the traditional style. Now, we're going to use our scissors and we're just going to cut where these marks are. We don't want to cut all the way through because it's going to be really, really hard to make a bracelet with it. So we're just going to cut the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you should have 16 different little marks, just like this. And you see how I didn't cut all the way through? Just a little bit. And next thing we need to do is we need to make kind of like a little hole in the center. Now, I recommend just folding it in half, just like this. And because it's a paper plate, it's easier. If it's cardboard, it's a lot harder. And then just making a triangle and cutting it into here. Now, it doesn't have to be a perfect triangle. It just has to work. And when you open it again, you kind of have a hole in the middle. And this is exactly what we need. And this is what we'll be using to make our Kumihimo bracelets. And you can use these a bunch of times. So for today, I'm not going to use yarn, but the one I'm wearing right now is made out of yarn. So I decided to use embroidery floss. Now, how long we make the string, it's up to you of how long you want your bracelet to be. I just cut it about this length because if I fold it in half, it should be more than enough to wrap around my wrist. So I have 8 different strings, 4 of each color. You can use more than 2 colors, but it is a little bit harder to keep track of. So if you're first starting out, I recommend just using 2 different colors. So we're gonna grab our 8 strings and we're gonna put them together and grab one end, just like this. We're gonna use our other hand to make kind of a loop around one of our fingers. And we're gonna push the ends through the loop in order to make a knot. Just like that. And once you have that, we're just gonna pull it together as tight as you can. And this is gonna be the end of your friendship bracelet. Now, once we have it, we're gonna put it through the hole that we made, all the way through to the other side. We're gonna use our left hand to hold on to it. Now, we're gonna grab our strings. So we're gonna use blue and kind of a yellow here. And let's separate it by color, just like this. Now, to make it easier to keep track of it, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 4 across from each other and then 4 on the other side. So let's use our blue to go to the top. Now this can tangle a little bit, so we wanna make sure we don't get any tangles by running our fingers through it, like that. So we're gonna grab one string. We're gonna push it through the top, just so it lands in between each of these pieces. And we're gonna do the same with another one, kind of like that. Now we're gonna use the last 2 of the blue, and we're gonna bring it down opposite, across from it. So we're gonna put one there, and another one right here. Okay, so you see how they're across from each other? And we're gonna do the same with the yellow on the other side. So we're gonna do one yellow over here, another yellow right next to it, and then the other 2 on the other side. Remember, we gotta separate the pieces. One, and then the last one over here. So it's kind of notched in between. And this is what it looks like to start off with. Now we're gonna do 3 things with our right side, okay? So we're gonna grab the top right string with our right hand and bring it down to the bottom right, next to the string that's already there. And we're gonna bring it down. Then we're gonna grab and use our left hand to do 3 things. We're gonna grab the bottom left string and we're gonna bring it up to the top left one. Just like that. And that's our first step. Then we're just gonna turn it to the left and do the same thing with the yellows. So we're gonna use our right hand and grab the top right string and bring it down next to the bottom right string and bring it in. Then we're gonna use our left hand, grab the bottom left string and bring it up to the top left string. And again, we're gonna turn it to the left. And we're gonna keep doing this for a bit. So let's continue on over here. Bring your bottom left string up to the top left, and then turn to the left again. And again, grab your right hand with the top right, bring it down next to the bottom right, then grab your left hand and do the same thing with the bottom left and bring it up to the top left. Now we're gonna do this a couple of more times just so you can see kind of what it looks like once it gets a braid going. So top right to our bottom right, bottom left next to our top left, and turn to the left. We keep doing it, top right to the bottom right, bottom left to the top left. Now you can kind of see a little bit the braid that's happening in the back, but you still need a lot of more times to do it. You don't have to do it all the way through, but I do recommend doing a bit of it. So I'm just gonna keep doing this just for a bit more. And keep it going. Now if you look at the disc right now, some of these things don't really look like this, right? And why is that? That's because you want to make sure to hold on to your kumihimo, the knot end, close to the kumihimo disc. That way you're stretching it tight. Now, if it is hard to hold on to it, you could just tape it down to the back and then move it when you need to. That's okay. Let's keep going. Top right to the bottom right, bottom left to the top left. And turn, then do it again. Just like that. As you can see, I really wasn't running my hands through the string, so they were starting to get knotted. So let's do that. Okay, and then we turn it and do it again. Okay, so now you can kind of see the kumihimo string, the kumihimo style coming out. Let's move this to the back. It's starting to make the braiding technique that we want. And it's that easy. So we're gonna continue this up until we get to the point where we wanna stop. Okay? Now, I have one that I already started working on, and I have it here with me. I didn't use a paper plate, but I used cardboard to make it. So let's put this to the side for now. So this is the same embroidery floss that I started working on before. And you can see it's a bit long, right? And this is almost ready, let's see, to make a bracelet. Yeah. So once you get to the point where you think you're done, you're just gonna leave it how it is, grab it from this side, and take all the strings off from the little notches that you have. Okay? And then once you have it like that, you can just pull it through the little hole in the middle. You have something like this. Now I used a really long piece of embroidery floss, which is okay, but I really don't want all of this. So first I'm gonna make a knot, and then I'm gonna cut off the rest that I don't need. So like we did before for the beginning, we're just gonna grab the loose end. We're gonna wrap it around our finger, just like this. And we're gonna push the loose ends through the loop, just like this. And now we wanna get as close to as possible to where the braid ends, like this, and just pull it tight. Now I still have a lot left over, and I don't need all of it, so let's cut off some. I'm gonna cut off all of this. So just use your scissors, cut it off, and you have what's ready to be a bracelet. Now for this, you could just make a simple knot, kind of like how I did here, kind of like how we tie our shoelaces. And then push it through. And it's done. This is a Kumihimo bracelet. Just like that. And that's all for today. If you want to show us your Kumihimo creations, feel free to tag us on social media at Murakami Museum. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy. Bye. Sayonara.